I know it's in the back somewhere. There it is. No. Alright.
Badoop.
Hello, and welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen me before, my name is Ariel, and today I'm going to be doing a book review, spoiler-free, on the first book in the NECROSCOPE quartet, NECROSCOPE by Brian Lumley. This book was written in 1986, or published in 1986, and I think the writing really holds up, to the times. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the book, try to be as spoiler-free as possible, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. So let's get into it. The beginning of the book starts out with a gentleman named Kyle going into his now deceased boss's office in a branch of government that no one really knows exists called E-Branch. He has prescience, meaning that he has like a precognition, so that is why he's doing what he's doing, because he saw certain things in his mind. As he's there, he runs into a ghost-like figure that is not a ghost and never has been a ghost, as he says. He is a fully formed, naked adult male in his what could be 20s, but could be older, just kind of floating there. And he's like, "Hey, bud, I got some stuff I gotta tell you. Get a coffee and a pencil and a piece of paper. It's gonna be a while." And he's like, "But I have a meeting." And the ghost that's not a ghost is like, "Doesn't matter. Sit." So he begins to tell him this tale. Now, the tale is starts in the past and works its way to present day and beyond. There are two main characters that you follow. The first one, the most important one, is Harry Keogh. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Keogh. He starts out as a young boy, and this young boy is a very smart young boy, and in school he is obviously made fun of, but his teacher's like, "Hey, he's really smart, let's try to send him somewhere else." But he's kind of really smart because of his gift, or at least I think that's why. So he's a necroscope, which means that he can talk to the dead, but not only can he talk to the dead, he can be imprinted with their knowledge. He can call upon them for help if he needs it. Harry is an orphan. His mother died when he was very young. He was brought up by his stepfather, who he doesn't really like and doesn't really like him. That's kind of how it goes in some stories like this. And Harry grows up to be a very wonderful man, in my opinion, but also a very stoic person. And Harry finds out that there are some things happening, and he's like, "No, I don't like this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to do something about it." So our other timeline is Boris Dragozani. Now, he starts out as an adult, and there's some really crazy things that happen. It's the very beginning of the book, and it's I was drawn in like that. And he is what's called a necroscope, meaning that he can get information, memories, anything he wants from you after you are dead by literally squeezing them out of your corpse. So in this universe, there is no heaven, there is no hell. Wherever you are, wherever your body is, that is where your soul stays. So these people are essentially tortured when a necromancer just sort of tears them apart. So he meets, we see him as a boy as well, and he meets the vampire that is in the book, and this vampire is very manipulative toward young Boris and kind of shapes his life into what it becomes in the book. Now, back to Harry a little bit. So Harry is a necroscope, and he speaks to the dead, so the dead love him. Because, like I said, wherever your body is, that's kind of where your soul sits. So during the time that you are buried, you're basically thinking and kind of working on things that you may or may not have enjoyed in life. So you could either be in your own personal hell or your own personal heaven. It's just you as your consciousness, essentially. So in the break in the monotony for the dead people, Harry comes and he's like, "Hey, I'm Harry. Sup?" And they're like, "Oh my god, hello." Harry meets people that are buried all over the world that lived a long time ago, scientists, mathematicians, Olympic athletes, people all over the world that can teach him things and learn to love him. And while he does that and he breaks the monotony, he teaches them how to go about their afterlife. So that is all I want to say about the book itself, because it would be very easy to spoil this. I'm going to be putting up a few of the pieces of art right here. They aren't spoiler-y, so that way you can see them. This edition came out, oh goodness, it's not, I don't think it's the first one that came out. Why didn't I look at this first? This edition came out, this illustrated edition came out in 2006. So this is from 2006. I don't know if they were in the original one since I don't have that in hand, but this was great. So let's just talk about my feelings of it. So now I'm going to talk about the cons first, because why not end the video on a good note, right? So the main thing that I didn't like about the book itself was how long the chapters were. They're very long, and I don't know if you can tell from here, but it's got very, very small print, which is very hard for me to keep focused on. When this print in a book is small, it's very hard for me to keep focus. Each chapter took me about an hour, hour and a half to read. So it's not a light read at all, by the way. For the way the writing was, I didn't have a problem with how it was written. It was the very, very long chapters. I could say I didn't like how the book ended because it was very cliffhanger-y, but there are three more books after this, so I haven't yet decided if I'm going to put the time and effort into finishing the quartet, but I have a feeling that I will, because I just can't. I've been thinking about it for days, even though I'm currently reading something else. So now we get to talk about the prose, my favorite part. So I loved Harry's character so much. He is a very deep individual. He thinks things through and he makes plans. He's a very methodical person, which I don't believe that I would have the skill to do that. Well, of course not the NECROSCOPE skills, but I wouldn't have the skill to be as thought out as he is. He does understand love and affection, but I feel like he might feel them differently. I liked watching him grow up from a boy to a man, and just kind of walking through life going, yeah, I'm going to do this way and this way and this way. He's very confident. I like his confidence a lot. I also really love the way the book was written. There was never a boring moment. I never felt like it dragged really at all. There was a few times where I was like, okay, can we get to the point? I understand you're explaining this, that's okay. But I mean, other than that, there wasn't really a point where I was just like, is it over yet? Because there are some books when you're reading, especially with really long chapters like this one, it can feel like it could go on forever. I also really liked the transition from Dragazani being a subservient son, you could call him, to a, no, you're gonna listen to me now. I've got you now. And I mean, can't say that because it'll spoil it, but in the end he ends up being pretty reprehensible, and I, reading it, felt bad for him toward most of the book, but then at the end I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't feel bad for him anymore. He played into that hand so hard, and I think he deserved everything he got, to be honest. So that's my thoughts on the book, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you've read the book, which I have yet to meet anybody else who has, please leave a comment down below and let me know how you felt. Or if you haven't read it and you're interested, let me know. Or if you have any questions about it that might be spoilery, also let me know. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Help my channel grow. And I really, really hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!